Hey.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What the heck is CREDO Mobile?
Ooh, good question. That is a MVNO,
Okay.
which is a mobile virtual network operator.
Okay.
They are just another option for people to choose for their wireless service other than the big three.
So what is an MVNO then?
So they have agreements with the big three carriers, whether it's T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon, to use their service, to use their towers for their customers, and then they offer wireless service at usually a discounted rate.
Okay. So is an MVNO a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
Okay. Should I just run right out and switch over to an MVNO?
Yes. No, you should. So the thing about the MVNO is there's a lot of options.
Okay.
And that can be definitely overwhelming. So we're using this platform.
Yep.
To kind of give everybody a little bit of differences on all of them. We're doing this thing called 7 things, 7 questions, however you want to bill it, of these are kind of the base level questions that people are looking at when they're going to look for wireless service. And we're going to talk about CREDO today and, you know, what they offer, what you can expect, maybe price points and stuff that you can expect, so you can get an idea of, hey, does this sound like something that's a better option for me other than, you know, the T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T.
Okay. So I'll hit you with the questions.
Do it.
You got the answers?
I think so.
All right. So let's start right at the top. CREDO doesn't have its own towers.
No.
It has to use somebody's.
Yes.
Who does CREDO rely on?
CREDO relies on Verizon.
Okay.
So anywhere that there's Verizon service, you will or should have CREDO service.
Okay.
Now, the difference that an MVNO usually has is that Tier 1 customers, or Verizon customers in this case, have preferred connection. So if you're in a heavily congested area, think, you know, Times Square on New Year's Eve.
Right.
You might have either a slower connection, which is usually the case, or you might not have a connection.
Okay.
That generally never happens with an MVNO, but it's a potential that customers should know about.
So if it uses Verizon,
Yep.
does it use Verizon's 5G?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have nationwide 5G. Anywhere that there is Verizon 5G, you have access to it through through CREDO also.
Okay. So if I have access to 5G, and let's say I'm at a sporting event, and there's a ton of people texting because it's amazing, this whole thing's going on. People want to send pictures and video. That would be, maybe it falls back to, oh, this thing doesn't feel like 5G anymore.
Sure.
Feels kind of like a 3G experience, 4G.
Right.
Okay. But the guy sitting next to me who has Verizon proper doesn't see that.
It's a possibility. Generally, I doubt that's going to happen.
Okay.
But it could happen.
The carriers are getting better and better all the time about doing that. And as Verizon builds out its nationwide coverage, that continues to improve.
Yep.
Okay. So if I have a phone and I'm with Verizon, can I bring that phone to CREDO?
Yeah, you can. So on their website, they have a tool where you can look up your serial number or your IMEI, and they can tell you for sure if that phone will work with their service, with CREDO service. But generally, if you have Verizon, you're going to be fine. If you have somebody like T-Mobile or AT&T, you'll want to check just to make sure. But generally, as time has gone on, most devices are available almost everywhere.
And if you're buying them unlocked now, too, you run into GSM, but then there's also a lot of universal unlocked.
Yes.
Such as a Motorola phone, which might work for that. Okay. Cool. So if I don't have a Verizon phone and I need to get one, can I get the phone through CREDO?
Yeah, you can. They offer most of the devices that you would know. They don't offer a huge variety. You won't see every little different manufacturer, but if you're looking for an iPhone or the latest Samsung Galaxy or something like that, you're gonna get that.
Okay.
But if you're looking for another flagship or maybe a Pixel phone or something, you might be looking at buying that from the manufacturer and then bringing it into CREDO.
Gotcha. So if I want to look at the phones or consider buying one, can I go to a CREDO store?
No. So that's the thing with most MVNOs. Some of them do have a retail experience, but generally it's going to be an online-only experience. And, with that overhead savings, they pass that on to you in a discounted service.
Sure.
So if you have a problem, there is online chat, there are phone numbers to call, there are things like that, but you can't go in and talk to a CREDO rep in a store.
So you mentioned discounted service. Tell me a little bit about the service. Like, what are the rate plans?
Okay, so all of their rate plans include unlimited talk and text, nationwide coverage, 5G data, high definition video streaming.
Okay.
And really the changes in price depends on how much data you want.
Okay.
So for $35 a month, you can get 1 gig of data included with your unlimited talk and text.
Okay.
And then if you want a truly full unlimited plan, you're looking at $70 a month.
And that's for a one-line plan.
One-line plan.
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing about CREDO is the more lines you add, the cheaper the service gets.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you were looking at, let's say, you have a 4-line family plan.
Okay.
Normally a fully unlimited for 1 line is $70.
Right.
If you have 4 lines, that price is $35 per line.
Okay.
So you're looking at half the price.
Sure. Okay.
For 4 lines than it would be for 2 lines.
So benefits by signing up the whole family.
Yep.
Instead of Okay.
And you'll see that actually a lot with most MVNOs. The more lines you have, the cheaper the service gets because there really isn't much added cost on their end for more devices.
Sure.
They're saving you that money over the course of time, especially if you have like a family plan or something.
And that's something that some of the bigger carriers do is they will lump in some extra features.
Sure.
You get so much cloud storage. You get some of your streaming video services are included, music unlimited. Those types of things are great, but you are kind of paying for those.
Right, whether you use them or not.
And they do have to absorb some of that usage on the tower.
Yep.
So something like this, you're not throwing in those little extras, and that's why you're just like, oh, you just want to talk and text, and you're still, a lot of people spend most of their day on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it's, the idea of unlimited high-speed data, it's almost more in theory than in practice for people.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting if you're watching this and you actually would take a look at your data usage. You might be surprised at how little you actually use because we are, on Wi-Fi a lot more than we realize.
Yeah.
And if you are using your mobile data a lot, maybe look at Wi-Fi that's available where you are.
Sure.
If you're at work or you're going to a coffee shop all the time, most of the time there's Wi-Fi available that is secure. Security has gotten pretty standard across the board. I know, years ago it was the idea of I don't want to connect to an open Wi-Fi because somebody's going to get all my stuff.
Sure.
That generally, it's pretty far-fetched that that's going to happen. But yeah, there are a lot of options for data usage depending on what you truly use.
Okay. So, last question. Are there any deals on rate plans or phones or anything that I might consider through CREDO?
Not really.
Okay.
So they have some deals on phones every once in a while. Maybe they get a new device in and they run a promo on it, or they're trying to offload some of older stock or something like that. You'll see those kind of deals. But generally, their rate plans that we've seen at the time of recording this have been standard price, for a while.
Sure. And I see on their website free 2-day shipping on all orders. Like,
sure, you'll have
technically that's
some
a deal.
deals, yeah,
that's a deal, but
not really like a discount on your monthly service or something like that.
Okay, so that's CREDO.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, you can go to CREDO's website. It's CREDO, CREDO, mobile.com.
Yeah.
Looks like they have a pretty good system for support. They don't shy away from that.
Right.
They've got phone numbers for sales, support.
Yep.
You've got some social media. You could chat with people directly in the website. Because there is no retail experience does not mean there is nobody willing to work with you.
Absolutely.
Answer your questions. So,
and I will say one other distinction about CREDO, and maybe they're where you would put your money is they offer on their website, they show you here are the campaigns we're giving money to, where your money is going. It's kind of how they bill it, so the monthly service that you pay for when they come in, a portion of that is donated to these different causes, and they tell you what they are right up front, and that's a big part of what they do. So that might be, something if that's important to you. It's a cool thing for them to put that on their site and, to make it a kind of a forward-facing, complete transparency of, hey, for the month of June, this is where your money's going.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Luke.
No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.